Hey, what's up? My name is Jay and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over my small but mighty video game collection. So I got inspired by some of the creators I see on YouTube currently. They have a lot of great content on there, a lot of retro consoles. I have more modern stuff. Truly, it just starts with like Xbox One, Xbox 360, and mainly Switch games. I also have, as you'll see, like a lot of different handheld consoles. Unfortunately, I used to have a more robust Nintendo DS collection that includes 3DS, but I had to sell it because times were hard. So I'm hoping now that I'm like in a better place somewhat, I'll like start collecting once again. So without further ado, let me show you what I have so far. Okay, bye. So on this pegboard behind me, you could already see what I have in my collection. I'm gonna move so my cat stops jumping on me in front of the camera. That way he'll be happier. But right on top, you can see I have the Game Boy Advance. Let me go get it. Down you go, Casimiro. Um, I don't have a lot of games for it, but it is in pretty good condition. Like right now, what do I have in it? Mega Man 5. If you can see it, I'll show it later when I'm actually focusing in on the physical games. But yeah, I really like this console. It's a throwback. It's probably one of my first consoles I've ever had growing up, so it's definitely very nostalgic. It's in super good condition. I got it right before the pandemic, so yeah, I got it at a good price at a local gaming shop in Tacoma, Washington. And I usually put it right up here. I'm gonna get a better display for it later. And then I have the Anbernic RG Cube XX, which is great for emulation. I really like it. I've been playing Breath of Fire on it. It's a great kind of like window into a lot of like retro gaming, so I'm really excited to kind of play it more. I've had it for 2 months. Um, the form factor is really great. I really enjoy it. This is my Nintendo DS case, which I was just messing around with my Nintendo DS. Oh, it's right here. And this is what I have left. This is the Wedge. The Nintendo 2DS also plays Nintendo 3DS games, DS games. And I really like the form factor for this one. However, like 2 years ago, I used to have a really great black clamshell, glossy finish Nintendo 3DS with some games like I was mentioning before. But I had to sell that. I was struggling a little bit financially, so I really needed to sell some stuff to kind of like pay rent and whatnot. So, but I was able to keep one of these, and I'm really happy I did. I'm in a better place now, and I hope to get back to like collecting some of the games that I lost. I really don't have a ton of funds to just buy the entire DS collection or 3DS, but I will be very intentional about how I curate some of the games that I do collect, especially now that they're more expensive. At the time, a lot of the collection I had amassed was right before the pandemic, and I know prices change all the time, but recently I know prices have gone significantly up, especially around that time. So yeah, Nintendo DS Wedge, I cannot hate it. It's great. It's lasted me this long. This was my backup console. I much prefer the other one, but what can you do? Things end up finding a way back to you anyway, right? So we'll hope for that. And right here I have my Nintendo Switch games. Like I said, I'll go over them in a minute. I just showing you the overall shrine of games that I have. Down here, I have my Xbox games, and it is a combination of like two Xbox 360 games and some Xbox One games that are compatible with the Xbox Series X, and of course a lot of Xbox Series X games. I only have the Xbox Series X as a console. I am looking to buy Nintendo Xbox 360. I'm gonna go look around Portland at my local retro gaming spots and see where I can find a good deal. So, because I really want to collect for that. It's a long story, but I initially bought 2 copies of Final Fantasy 13, and I thought they would be backwards compatible with the Xbox Series X. They were not. I do own that game on Steam, and I can play it online, but I know it gets a lot of flack just because it's the way it's ported, people don't really like. So I'm wondering if that's a better option for playing the game. I know initially on the PlayStation would be best, but this is what I have, so it's what we're working with. And they haven't released like a version for PlayStation 5 that I know of, so I've been looking for it, and so far those are my options. So I'm trying to see, compare and contrast, what is going to be the best option for playing Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and then the rest of that series. So yep. Also right here I have my Backbone, which is really great. I recently got more into emulation beyond the Anbernic ever since the iOS store started featuring Delta. I have been checking out a lot of different like retro games, and I'm really happy that that is finally an option for iPhone people. So yeah, it's been really great. The Backbone has like allowed me to play games through that. I also have my PS5 controller right here, and that's pretty much it. I am hoping to build my collection a little bit more as we go. Now for the actual focus, in-depth look at some of the things in my collection. So I showed you the Game Boy Advance. Really like the color, love that it's translucent, still in really good condition. Back here we have Mega Man 5, if it can focus and you can see it right. Yay! So I haven't played this. This is the last game I had on my Game Boy Advance, but it's one of the few games I kept after I sold a lot of my collection. I also have the Grand Theft Auto Advance game. Haven't played it either, but I'm excited to delve into it. I was just more so perplexed and interested to see how the hardware could emulate a lot of this experience. I know it's not going to be as robust as some of the Grand Theft Autos on other consoles, but yeah, I was still excited. Honestly, the only Grand Theft Auto I've played is 4, so I kind of wanted to see what the fuss was all about for the rest of the franchise as well. If we could focus a little bit. Are we there? Are we there? There we go. And then, not exclusively Game Boy Advance, but my Game Boy Advance will play this game. We have Zelda Oracles of Seasons, and you can see it's translucent. I got it for a really cheap price, once again in Tacoma, Washington, a few years back. So I really like this game. I put in like maybe 10 hours into it. I still need to finish it. But yeah, my goal is to one day go through all of the Zelda games, so this is definitely a must-have for someone like me who's trying to go through all of them. And this one, the label is all scratched out, but it's still in good condition, still plays, and as you can see, it still has a price on it. I got it for $7, and it was a steal of a deal in my opinion, considering how much it goes for now. I wonder how much how much it would go down just because of some of the wear and tear to the actual label. Up next, we have my very sad Nintendo 2DS with my very sad Nintendo 3DS collection. So this was a backup for me, so I don't really have a lot of my stuff on here. As you can see, the SD card is not that great, but it's fully working. It's great. It's what I need in case I want to play, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS games. So yeah, it's still very nostalgic. Maybe one day I'll find a way to get back into collecting for the 3DS, and I can get a better 3DS console. Maybe one of those clamshells again. So yeah. And then right here, this is a case for it. This is very sad, and you'll see why. So I just have 3 games left. I had a ton more. Like, my collection was pretty great before for the DS and 3DS. This one works, although it looks like it's been through the ringer. um, this actually used to belong to a partner of mine, and I think his dog ended up biting it or something. But it still works. Oh, look at it. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed to show that. But outside of that, my collection's pretty fine. I promise. I take pretty good care of it. I just thought that was funny and an interesting story to share with folks. So this was one of the games that they would just not take from me. So I ended up just keeping it. It's a Zookeeper action puzzle game, and that's for the Nintendo DS. And then I haven't played this Final Fantasy. This is Final Fantasy 12, Revenant Wings. So I'm excited to explore more. I haven't heard too much about it. Oh, it still has a price tag on it. I think it says it was like $15, so yeah, pretty decent price. Some of the games that I really sorely miss on the Nintendo 3DS are all the other Final Fantasy games. I particularly spent a lot of time playing Final Fantasy 4 for hours and hours and hours, and that port was, in my opinion, excellent. I really, really liked it. Up next, we have the Anbernic RG Cube XX, and this is really fun. This is my intro into emulation machines. This is, I mean, besides my phone, this is the only one I own. And I've been playing a lot of Breath of Fire on here. A lot of the games, especially with like the Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy play really well on this. I don't think it's meant for anything higher than that. Maybe PlayStation 1, but everything, beyond that will not play too well on this, in my opinion. But this is kind of the more affordable end of these type of devices. There are devices on there that Anbernic sells that the more easily play games with, more intense graphics and whatnot. So yeah, I really like this one. I got it back in December. Overall, I paid $107 with shipping. You can buy them cheaper, but I just bought with I got it with the extra storage as well, so that's why. And then up next, we have this behemoth that I can't even fit totally under the camera, but this is the Steam Deck. I really enjoy this console. It's been my main gaming console, at least in terms of handheld, for a long time. I got it back in 2023 when it came out. That's when it came out, I think. And yeah, it's been very durable. It plays games really well. It was a solution for back when we were asking for a Nintendo Switch Pro. I think it does a really good job of playing most things on my Steam library. And right now, as you can see, I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII, really trying to play through all of the Final Fantasy games, as well as the Zelda games. So, also, as you can tell, I really like RPGs. So, up next, we have the games I have for the Switch. So I will set this aside. I really like this tub. I got it at the Dollar Tree, like I mentioned. And I really like the way they look. I could display them spine facing, but I just like to browse this way. I don't know why. It just makes me, something about the merchandising of it really makes me giddy. So yeah, so we'll focus on the games for that. Up first, I have Bravely Default 2, and this one doesn't have the original cover because I got it used from a local gaming shop here in Portland. It's top of the line games. They're really great there, have a great collection, decent prices, and the software are super, super helpful. So yep, there we go, Bravely Default. And then Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I haven't played this yet, but I have been meaning to play this game. I am not too well versed in a lot of the newer 3D Mario games. Back in the day, I played a lot of them on the SNES with my brother. So this kind of held the spirit of a lot of that. So this is kind of like my re-entry into the Mario world, and I'm excited to explore it. So I've heard great things too, so. Up next, I was mentioning my love for JRPGs, and we have one of the series that started it all, in terms of the RPG genre, specifically JRPGs. This is Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. I haven't played it, but I am so excited to get into it. It has a lot of those core elements that Dragon Quest had back when it started, specifically with like the monster collecting, then ended up getting inspiration from Shin Megami Tensei, I believe, and then that game inspired Dragon Quest and then Pokemon, as you know. So yeah, I've heard really good things. This game actually came out to not a lot of conversation, so I'm excited to see what it's all about, because the few reviews I have heard about and read have been pretty strong. So next I have a Rune Factory 5, which is a farming sim / RPG, and it comes with a booklet here, which I'm just now seeing for the first time. There has been some controversy with like the port of this game on the Switch. I am not well versed on what it is, but been kind of dreading finding out. So if you know, feel free to mention it in the comments. But something about an extra download once you actually like install the game, which doesn't sound like a big issue, but I think down the line there's like some bugs or something. Regardless, this series gets very well lauded like in RPG circles, so I'm really excited to get to learn a little bit more about not just this game but the series as a whole. So I thought this would be a great starting point, especially on the Nintendo Switch. And then speaking of buggy messes, we have Pokemon Scarlet. I haven't gotten into it yet. I did play and finish Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I felt like that's left me with such a great feeling, such a high, that I didn't want to ruin it soon after by playing this. I've heard it's good, and I do need to give it a chance. It's just a matter of, you know, the Switch was just not ready for this, and you can definitely tell this was definitely something that maybe I hope we'll get an upgrade as the Switch 2, you know, rolls out, and hopefully there are some upgrades for games that struggled a little bit on the original Switch. And then who can forget Animal Crossing? This game I spent like 500 hours on. It is great, came at the perfect time, as you all know, during the pandemic. So in the thick of it, I found this to be such a relaxing, cute game. It was actually my introduction into the series, and soon after I ended up getting a new Leaf in Wild World on the 2DS, which I ended up selling, but I had a lot of fun, and I do have a way of playing them. So recently I've been kind of getting back into them and exploring that world. There's a little bit more charm with the older games, I do have to say, but I'm really happy that this kind of was my introduction into it, just because a lot of the quality of life features and just being able to navigate this game was pretty, you know, up to standard with modern sensibilities with this century. So going back to older games, I do struggle a little bit, but since I have this as a base, I feel like it's been really helpful. Tactics Ogre was a game that I've heard so many great things about over and over in a lot of the JRPG, Tactics RPG podcasts that I listen to. This game is very well recommended. I know it draws a lot of inspiration on games like Final Fantasy Tactics, and you know, has a really good rep in general. I have a couple of Tactics RPGs under my belt now. I know that this is more on the complex side, but I feel like I'm ready for it, and I'm really excited to explore this more. We have Dredge, which is a game that came out maybe like 2 years ago. It is really great. I've put in like 10 hours into it. I know that's not a lot. It is cosmic horror, so it has a lot of that kind of Lovecraftian is the word I was trying to desperately go for. But yes, has a lot of that Lovecraftian aura to it, because it is kind of a spooky cosmic horror video game. This one comes with a poster, which is great. I think I can't remember where I got this from, but I know it's a game that is not so widely available physically, so I'm excited to have it. But yeah, it's a lot of resource management and kind of focusing in on your ship that you traverse in this new town where there's a lot of like mysteries to unsolve as you try to kind of establish yourself and make more money, get yourself back on your feet by going out there into the ocean and fishing. So yeah, heard really good things about this. I'm excited to play it more. 10 hours is not enough. Ace Attorney Chronicles, I'm really excited to get into. I have not played this game, but as all of you might know, this is such a classic, and I'm so happy that it started gaining popularity here in the West as well. So a lot of people like me get a chance to explore the physical game. So I'm excited. And back to the world of JRPGs, we have one of the classics that recently got remastered. That is Star Ocean, the second story R. I know hardly anything about it, but it just looks so beautiful. I am excited to... Whoop, here's Casimiro to play. So it looks beautiful. It's one of those 2D HD remasters. And yeah, I'm really a big fan of a lot of these remasters. I know Dragon Quest 3 recently came out. I have that for the Xbox as well. So more of these, please. Then we have another 2D HD. This is not a remaster, however. I don't know why it doesn't have the ESRB or Pengi thing. I bought it off Amazon. It came like this. I played through the entire game and it didn't give me any issues, so can't complain, I guess. But yeah, so I played it through New Game Plus and I really liked it. The story is beautiful with lots of options based on the choices you make throughout the games, the characters you decide to align with. So it was my second like introduction into strategy tactics style RPG, so this one's really great. This one I got on sale and I actually don't know anything about. It's called Mato Anomalies. It looks like a creepy, fun anime style like visual novel type game. So I love that genre and I'm excited to explore more. So if you know more about this and can recommend it, let me know in the comments. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is a great series. I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 recently and it was fantastic. I fell in love with the characters and the world, the style of fighting, and all the skill trees, how complex it was. Honestly, it took me like half the game to figure out what exactly I was doing, and I really appreciated that. So I've heard that Xenoblade Chronicles is a lot of people's favorite in the series, so I'm excited to play it. I also recently played Xeno was it Xenogears with for the PlayStation, and that was incredible. Very weird, um, very theoretical, a lot of like Jungian theory tied into the characters and the lore, but it was great, and so I'm excited to kind of be more invested in that world. So the team that is in charge of creating and fostering this space has been really dedicated, so I'm excited. Prince of Persia is up next. It's a game that did not get its flowers when it came out, but people who reviewed it have sworn by it, and I'm really excited to play it. I did get it on the Switch. I think it runs pretty okay. Um, but people who have the option to get it elsewhere, I've heard it's great as well. So yeah, Metroidvania style game. I actually have never played any of the Prince of Persia games, so this will be another introduction into the series. Although I know that this one is going to be vastly different than the ones that are out there. So yeah, I'm excited that the team went with this vision and executed it so well. Next, we have Super Mario RPG, the remake, which I'm really excited to play. It's a classic. And yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's a shorter JRPG, which I know is not saying much compared to like what some of the RPGs end up taking you like in the hundreds of hours. So we'll see how long this takes me, but it sounds like it's going to be a really charming game, and I'm really happy that Nintendo decided to trust, I believe it was Enix or Square, with developing this game. So a lot of the people that were developing the Final Fantasy games during that time. So it has a lot of flavor of both, and they really let them go wild. So yeah, I'm excited to explore this. Next, we have BombRush CyberFunk. So I've heard really good things. This kind of tickles my brain for the more nostalgic, like Sega era of gaming. So I'm really excited to explore this one. This is, of course, a more modern game that tries to recall on all of the nostalgia, a lot of the vibes, a lot of the like early 2000s kind of style. So yeah, I'm excited to play this. This will be a nice break after a very long, like kind of hefty JRPG, like Final Fantasy VIII, which I'm currently playing. I've been playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is great. I really, really love it. I was going through a big move, and I didn't want the stress of that to kind of be associated with like me playing this game. I'd much rather have like Final Fantasy VIII be take care of that. So I decided to take a pause on this. I have played like about 30 hours of it, so I'm pretty far into the game, but I'm excited to pick it back up. As you can see, it's Princess Zelda who is the protagonist for this game. I've heard some critiques about how, you know, it, some of that Zelda element is lost when you don't allow her to kind of have a sword and kind of have similar mechanics as you would with Link. But I think that's also part of the charm, giving the opportunity for a new kind of narrative to start, a new type of protagonist to kind of move the game forward as well. So from her perspective, I'm really excited to see where they go moving forward, because this game has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it despite the criticisms. Like, that has not fogged my gameplay whatsoever. It's really, really great. The music is just exquisite, a lot of like wind instruments, and the world is beautiful. I'm really surprised at how much they were able to pack into this game, you know, towards the end of the life of the Nintendo Switch. Then we have Dragon Quest Builders 2. Not a typical Dragon Quest games in style. It's more like a Minecraft type of game. I'm really enjoying it. I played like 20 hours of it. It's definitely a game that I think I will pick up here and there, just because it doesn't have a very narrative heavy kind of focus, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I'm not too into Minecraft myself, so this has been a really great introduction to how games like that work. Um, there's also another game that I'm forgetting. I'll come back to me. That is very similar to this one as well, that I recently got as well. So characters are charming. They're like very chibi, Akira Toriyama versions of that universe. So yeah. So we have Sonic Shadow Generations, which I've heard really good things about as well. I'm excited to play this. Sonic is near and dear to my heart. I played a lot of like the Gameboy Advance Sonic games, and then also recently the Sonic Adventures 2. So that one's a classic. So I'm excited to kind of explore more and see where kind of my love of Sonic goes after having a couple more games under my belt. Next, we have Disgea 5, another game I got on sale that I know nothing about. So if you know something about it, let me know. But it looked cute. I was selling for a really good price, and I've heard some good things about it, albeit not enough. But yeah, I'm excited to explore this. The art looks really cool, which is what initially attracted me to this game. And then Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I got this recently after beating Shin Megami Tensei 5. Which surprisingly ran really well on the Switch. That one was the one that was exclusive to the Switch at the time. And I decided to kind of like play more games to become more invested in the lore of the world, the characters. Recently was finished playing Persona 5, just the vanilla one. I really love that one. I was a little upset that I didn't play the Royal version, which I know is the definitive way to play it. But kind of studying how this is connecting to Shin Megami and how once it was one and then just kind of split up into its own branch. Really love the world, love the monsters, love the combat style. It's very dark and edgy, and I think it's bringing a very interesting and needed flavor into the JRPG world. So, really like it. Has an element of realism that kind of clashes with a lot of the fantasy. So I feel like Persona 5 and then Shin Megami Tensei 5 reminded me also of kind of this new wave of JRPGs like the Like a Dragon that has a lot of like obtuse and absurd comedy here and there, or in this case horror, but it kind of amplifies some of the realism and critiques it has towards like Japanese society and inequities. So yeah, for that reason I'm really excited to explore more of the Atlas style games. And then finally, we have Fantasian Neo Dimension, which is from the creator of Final Fantasy IX. This came out for mobile in two parts a few years ago, and is finally on the Switch. And I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm really excited to play it. Um, I have not started it, but this is top on my list. It looks incredible, and look at the art; it's just beautiful. So, with that, I think that's gonna be it for my collection chat today. Next video, I will focus on some of the games I have for the Xbox, since I have a lot more to say about them. And hopefully by then I'll have an Xbox 360. But with that, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Also, quick note, maybe this will be the bloopers or the end of the video. This is Casimiro. I have three cats, and I have a small studio, but luckily it's tall enough where they can like climb up. It's a loft studio, so they get plenty of exercise. They climb all the way up to the windows. So yeah, they'll frequently be visiting and saying hi. So it's my co-host. Bye.